Hey there, welcome back to another episode of Catalyst. Today, we are diving into Catalyst's powerful relational database management system, the Catalyst Data Store. Now, if you're new to Catalyst, here's a quick intro. Catalyst is a full-stack cloud development platform that lets you build and deploy scalable web applications, mobile apps, and even microservices with ease. It's packed with a range of services that supports every step of your development journey, and today, we're going to explore one of its core components, the data store. The Catalyst Data Store is a robust RDBMS that stores all kinds of data. Whether it's your backend data for your application or data from your end users, you can seamlessly perform CRUD operations using Catalyst SDKs available in Java, Node.js, Python, and mobile SDKs as well. In this video, I'll walk you through all the ins and outs of Catalyst Data Store and show you how to manage data using Catalyst's extensive set of tools and features. You can check out the help documentation links of all the topics covered in the video's description. The first step is to create a project from the Catalyst console. You must have created an account with Catalyst to be able to access the console. After you do, you can open the console and create a project in this way. So click Create New Project and give the project name. Click Create. So in this video, I'll show you how to create and manage an employee information table. Data Store is a part of the Catalyst Cloud Scale service designed to handle everything you need for storage, integration, and deployment of data within your application. Catalyst has a suite of components to make storage a breeze. For secure file storage and access, their file store need fast and temporary storage for ephemeral data. We've got a cache component for that. And when it comes to data searching, our search component lets you quickly find what you need by indexing columns in your data store tables. Catalyst also offers ZSQL, a powerful query language for performing data manipulation and CRUD operations in the data store. We'll cover ZSQL in detail in an upcoming video, so stay tuned for that. Today, we'll dive deep into the heart of Catalyst Data Store and explore how to seamlessly set up tables. So let's jump in and get started. First, head over to the Catalyst Cloud Scale service. Click Start Exploring. Under the Storage section, click on Data Store. Here you'll see all the cloud scale components Catalyst has to offer. Feel free to explore each of them. Now let's proceed to create our first table to store employee information. Click Create New Table. Click Create, and yes, the table is created. You can always edit table information from this menu, and also you can truncate or delete the table if required. Now that our table is set up, it's time to add some columns. Catalyst offers a variety of data types to suit your needs. It's text, varchar, integer, double, date, and more. You can make a column mandatory, set it to be unique, and even secure sensitive data according to the HIPAA or GDPR guidelines, ensuring top-level security for your data. You can also index columns for Catalyst search if required. So let's create a new column. Click on New Column. Give the column name as Employee ID. Let's set the data type to integer. Also toggle the is unique, is mandatory, and the search index options. And if your column contains sensitive data, you can also toggle on data protection, keeping it fully compliant with security guidelines. And now click Create, and the column will be created here. Here it is. Now let's quickly create two more columns for employee names and the job title. You can see all your columns in the Schema View section here. These are also the default columns created by Catalyst. Do you know you can set up custom scopes and permissions for your data store tables? There are three types of scopes to choose from. The global scope lets all end users access the entire table. For the organization scope, as in Catalyst, we support multiple organizations. And this scope allows users to access only the data added by the members of their own organization. Or the last is the user-specific scope, which allows the user to access only the data they have inserted. You can check out the links in the video's description to know more about Catalyst organizations. You can tailor these scopes to fit specific roles like app admin or app user. giving each role the exact permissions they need. You can create these roles in the Catalyst authentication component of the Cloud Scale service. For instance, you can grant, select, update, insert or delete access to specific roles, making sure everyone has just the right level of control. Let's head over to the Scopes and Permissions tab to assign the permissions each role needs. For example, we can give the app admin global access, letting them manage everything seamlessly. For the app user, we can set it to user-specific access, giving them a more restricted and personalized experience. So this way, you can control exactly who can see and do what, tailored perfectly for your application needs. Catalyst offers powerful SDKs in Java, Node.js and Python to handle all your data operation needs and to even perform bulk operations in the data store. Plus, if you prefer working with APIs, we've got that covered too. Check our API documentation links in the description below. Come, let's dive into how you can integrate data store seamlessly into your codebase. We'll be using a Catalyst advanced I/O function in the Node.js programming environment for the backend implementation. And if you're new to Catalyst, no worries, check out the functions documentation link in the video's description to get up to speed. Let's jump right in and get started. We'll use the Catalyst CLI to manage the Catalyst project directly from the system's terminal, where you can initialize, develop and test the components and sync changes to your online account upon deployment. So I've already got the CLI installed for this demo. If you haven't done that yet, don't worry, just check out the CLI documentation link in the video's description. So now I'll create a new project directory. I'll navigate to that directory and I'll initialize the Catalyst project in this directory using the catalyst init command. So we'll need to select the organization in which we've created the Catalyst project earlier. Next, I'll select the Catalyst project. Now we'll create a Node.js advanced I/O function to code the backend of this application. Click Tab to select a function. Click Advanced I/O. Choose Node.js. We'll go with the default settings for this function. Enter Yes. The function is created. You can create it in any stack of your choice. Now, I'll open this project in an IDE. In the functions directory, let's open the index.js file. You will have to code the required logic in this file. I've already coded the SDK implementation for this demo, so I'll just simply copy paste it here. So here it is. If you need details of any of these methods, our SDK documentation has you covered. For all the stacks, Java, Node.js and Python, you'll find all those links in the video's description. So let's quickly walk through the code and understand how each CRUD operation works. So I have coded each CRUD operation under a switch case operator. First, I've initialized the data store component here and configured the table that we created in the console earlier. First, let's start with the create operation. This create endpoint executes the insert row method that allows you to add a data row to the data store table. You will have to pass each column data like this. So the employee ID, employee name and the job title has to be passed like this. You can provide the required values for it. So let's quickly check how this works. I'll use the catalyst serve command to test the function locally. So let's now hit this URL in the browser with the create endpoint. So here, the response looks like this. So the rows have been added to the employee table. Come, let's check the console as well. So here, you have to navigate to the data view in the console. Yes, the row has been added. The next data store operation is read. This read endpoint executes the getRow method that allows you to fetch the details of a given row. Here, you must pass the row ID that has to be read from the data store table. You can fetch the row ID from the console. Let's now hit this URL with the read endpoint in the browser. So here, the response looks like this. So the details of the row has been retrieved successfully. So our next operation is update. To update the details of a specific row, the update endpoint triggers the update row method. You must pass the details of the row to be updated like this. Here employee ID is the unique column, and you can give the here. Let's change the job title of this employee. Now we'll hit the update endpoint in the browser. Here the response is successful, and in the console, come let's check it out. Here the job title has been updated to senior technical writer. Next, to delete a specific row, you must input the row ID like this to the delete row method. So we'll hit this endpoint in the browser. The response goes like this. The row has been successfully deleted from the table. Come let's check in the console as well. The row has been deleted here. And Catalyst doesn't stop there. You can also perform bulk operations with your data, say read, write and delete. We also provide SDK methods for them. So I have some sample bulk data to show you how this works. Come let's dive into this. So our next operation is bulk write. Let's first do the bulk write operation and then read that data from the data store. So for bulk write, we'll have to ensure the data is stored in Catalyst file storage component. So here I'm navigating to Catalyst file store. Click create folder. Click create. So you can open this folder and add a new file. So I have a sample bulk data file to show you how this read and write operation works. So I'll upload this here. So I'll copy this file ID. We will need to configure it in the code. You can also explore this component. For more details, please do check out documentation link in the video's description. Here, the bulk write endpoint creates a bulk write job in the backend, and you'll need to pass the file ID here. The primary key or the unique column in your table must be given here in find by, and the operation should be insert. So this endpoint gives the ID of the job that has been created in the backend as a result. So let's try out by hitting this endpoint in the browser. So this gives the ID of the bulk write job as the response. We'll copy this ID. Now let's go back to our code. This bulk job status endpoint triggers this get status method that returns the status of the bulk write job. You will have to pass the copied job ID here. So I'll execute this endpoint in the browser. So here it is completed. So we can now go ahead and see the result for this job. For that, I've written the logic under the bulk write result endpoint. So this triggers the get result method, and you will also have to pass the job ID here. Let's now trigger this bulk write result endpoint in the browser. Here is the response. So it says bulk data has been successfully returned to the table. Come let's check in the console. Let's navigate to data store. Under the data view, here the rows has been inserted in the data store. Similarly, for bulk read operation, this bulk read endpoint creates a bulk read job in the backend. So the ID of the job that has been created will be returned as a response to this bulk read endpoint. So let's trigger this endpoint in the browser. Here we have the job ID, and the read job has been scheduled successfully. Let's copy this job ID. Let's go back to the code. Now to check the status of the job, let's pass the job ID to the get status method here. So this bulk read status endpoint gives the status of the job that has been created in the backend. Now let's check the status of the job by hitting this endpoint. Here the status of the job is now completed. Now let's proceed to get the result of the bulk read job. Back to our code. This bulk read result endpoint helps you fetch the result of the bulk read job. Here again you will need to pass the job ID to the get result method. So here I've written the logic to download this result as a zip file. Come let's hit this endpoint in the browser to check the bulk data that has been read from the data store table. So here the result has been downloaded. So these are the data rows that has been fetched from the data store table. Let's go back to our code. So the final operation for the day is bulk delete. You will need to pass the row IDs of the rows to be deleted like this to the delete rows method. So we'll fetch the row IDs from the console. Now let's hit this endpoint in the browser. Here is the response. The rows has been deleted from the data store table. Let's check in the console as well. Yes, the given rows has been deleted from the table. So managing data in bulk has never been easier. You can also deploy this function to your remote console using the Catalyst deploy command after you have tested everything locally. So that wraps up our Catalyst data store. Now you're ready to create tables, manage data, perform CRUD operations, and even perform powerful bulk data operations in Catalyst with ease. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out the links in the description for more resources. See you in the next video.